All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Sarah Brahms-Miller. I am the Reltio Community Manager. Um, I am happy to announce that we have a community show today on the Reltio integration for Veeva Vault CRM. Our One of our directors of product management, Gaurav Gira, is going to be presenting today. Gaurav, can you please go to the next slide? Thank you. Just general housekeeping items for our community. These are all recorded. They will be posted to community, if not later today, then by tomorrow. Please, if you have a question that you'd like to ask, please use the raise your hand feature, but keep yourselves on mute. If you have something urgent that you'd like to ask, the raise your hand feature, it definitely helps. You can also enter your questions into the chat section, which will be helpful. And if we don't get to your questions by the end of the session, we will send up a follow email with responses to those questions as well. And Gaurav, next slide, please, first. And you can go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. Okay. Kick it off to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. I'll just move to the safe harbor section. Yeah. Welcome everyone. Today we are diving into a crucial topic for life sciences organizations, right? And it is integration with Veeva Vault CRM. My name is Gaurav, and I'm excited to walk you through how this pre-built integration can revolutionize your commercial data strategy, right? And before we begin, please note the standard safe harbor provisions over here. Please be aware that these uh, these standard safe harbor are required for you to for that you, for you to know that the presentation contains certain forward-looking statements. Right. So, having said that, you know, I want to kind of address the core challenge that faces the entire industry today, especially the life sciences one, right? We often find that siloed, fragmented data is a primary barrier to digital transformation, or even now AI transformation, so to speak, right? Data is scattered across multiple systems, whether it's SaaS applications, legacy databases, on-prem solutions, and various cloud platforms, right? And this complexity or this complex landscape results in data that is highly fragmented, um, generating poor quality results, and causing delays in mobilizing some of these critical informations across the landscape, right? And what is the true cost of this fragmentation? It's the inaccurate, it's uh, you know uh, the profitability hit that you get across the life sciences value chain, right? Specifically, incomplete or inaccurate HCP, HCO data leads to reduced sales and marketing effectiveness. When HCP and in this case, fragment patient data is spread across multiple channels, it results in poor engagement. And if you're using this data in clinical trial management systems, there are poor quality data would cause delays, higher costs, and slower growth, right? So, so, and in compliance, right? So, if you're talking about IDMP, privacy, transparency, if the data is not accurate, it can lead to harmed reputation, delays, regulatory sanctions in certain cases, right? So, how we solve this data at Reltio is, you know, we are designed to unify, manage, and mobilize your core data. We connect, um, cleanse, enrich the data gathered from all your internal and external sources, including, as I mentioned, the cloud platforms, SaaS applications, third-party data sources, your own databases, right? And the result is trusted, unified data that is real-time and always on. Right? So we have this notion of HCP 360. So you must have heard of the life sciences velocity pack, and as part of that, we have this notion of Reltio HCP 360 that is specifically designed for improved go-to-market and commercial operations, right? So we ingest data from first-party sources, which could be your CRM, ERP, CTMS. We enrich that data from data vendors. It could be IQVIA, DEA, Metro, and the Reltio platform then unifies. You can use it for segmentation as well, and integrates all these information, even things like interactions, transactions, and behavior data, right? Which kind of brings out that 360-degree view, uh, because it kind of combines all these attributes from multiple different sources, right? And this comprehensive data is then delivered via real-time sync to uh, downstream enterprise applications, provider portals. You can run your AI and analytics workloads on this data, right? And similar notion exists for an HCO 360. So what we see over here is similar diagram, but on the right hand side, we have expanded to the specific use cases and business outcomes that you can achieve, after you have unified and enriched the data, and if you mobilize it into your downstream systems, there are certain business initiatives that we have listed over here, which can be activated with the data coming in from an HCO 360. Right? So this is the entire concept of what we do at Reltio, and the kind of work we have done for our customers in the life sciences space, right? But now let's focus on the core offering that we're talking about here, which is the Reltio integration with the Veeva Vault CRM, right? And in most cases, Veeva Vault CRM is one of those primary applications that you use for your CRM, SFA, and marketing, engagements, right? So this pre-built integration, what it does is it guarantees a single trusted view of the HCP, HCO data for accurate and compliant engagement with your customers across the commercial teams. It provides bidirectional profile synchronization, so it can give you that real-time availability of data in your Viva Vault CRM system. Right. We are also working on something called as a search before create capability, which will have an intelligent matching algorithm behind the scenes, which will ensure that you have fewer duplicates and less manual work while you are creating the data in Vault CRM. Right? This integration also provides that regulatory readiness with auditable customer records supporting industry standards, leading to lower overhead. And since this is a pre-built integration, there's uh, fewer or lesser IT overhead. It's built on RIH, so it's scalable framework with, and it has capabilities around error handling, right? So ultimately, it enables that faster insight and decisions with consistent data, regardless of where this data is coming from or how you're utilizing this data in the downstream systems, right? And the way we have created this integration is in the form of a layered architecture, right? And the foundation over here is a pre-built Viva Vault CRM connector, which allows you not just to connect to the system. It includes pre-built business transformations, mappings, and actions, and those are completely managed and upgraded by Reltio, right? And there's another layer on top of that Reltio layer. These are the RIH recipes, which cover the triggers, the workflow processes, and things like error handling, which are very specific to your use cases and how you want to handle the data, right? And these all can be customized by our customers based on the specific needs, right? So to just dig in deep into what kind of integration we provide, right? So the first one is the on from the Reltio side, we have this notion of HCP entity type, right? It's part of our life sciences velocity pack. We can sync that HCP data with the Vault CRM, and those that will go and reside in the standard Viva Vault object called account. And it could have two different types of objects. It could be a professional or a key opinion leader, right? And on the Reltio side, the way we have mapped these two object types are through the uh, HCP role attribute. So if you have, for example, an HCP with a role professional, that will be synced with the account object of type professional, right? And there are certain pre-built attribute mappings and transformations come along with these with this data, right? What you see in the center is the Reltio Integration Hub. It's the integration platform that we provide as part of Reltio. Um, so all these integrations are built and available for customers on RLH. Right. Similarly, we do for the healthcare organizations as well. So on the right-hand side in Reltio, we will have HCO entity type with different facility types, whether it's hospital department, clinic, pharmacy, things like that, right? And then there is a corresponding account object type against which this data would sync, right? So HCO facility type in Reltio would sync with the hospital uh, object type of Veeva. We just don't do this as well. We do affiliations. So whether you're talking about the parent-child relationship between HCOs, so a hospital can have an hospital department, or hospital can own a clinic or a pharmacy, right? That kind of parent-child relationship, organization hierarchy relationship is also synced between the two systems. We also sync the HCP affiliation with HCO. So, for example, if there is uh, a medical director working at a hospital, right? So that data, that relationship data, is also available in real time between the two systems. Right. I did not mention about the addresses. It's also part of that, and we have also managed to do certain uh, license specific data. So for example, in Reltio, we have the DEA and the NPI license data. In Vault CRM, those are mapped as part of addresses. So that cross-object mapping is also taken care of in these pre-built integrations. Right. So this is what we have, and in terms of the capabilities for what we provide for the integration, we have, as I mentioned, the pre-built Vault CRM connector that allows for the connection as well as integration with Reltio as well as with the Vault. It has certain pre-built actions for you to kind of fetch the data and transform the data. Then there are really recipes to sync the HCO, HCP relationships and the address information. These recipes work in a real-time basis if you're replicating the data from Reltio to Viva Vault. We use all the three queues, whether it's SQS, GCP, PubSub, or Azure queues. But when it comes to the data coming in from Vault CRM to Reltio, these are near real-time recipes with a minimum poll of 15 minutes, right? And what we have seen is that the data gets reflected to up to 30 minutes later in Reltio, right? And this is something that we are using standard capabilities from Viva Vault, right? Wherein they do not have streaming kind of a capability, but they provide this data in the form of files uh, at a frequency of 15 minutes. So that's how we get the data from Viva Vault and load it into Reltio, right? Specifically for data coming in from Reltio to Vault CRM, we have taken care of the reverse transcoding for the lookup types also. Right. So this is for the ongoing integration between the two systems, but we also provide capabilities to load data in the bulk or, for example, for initial loads. So let's say you have already implemented Reltio and now you're launching a new source for Viva Vault CRM. It could happen that you want to load your data from Vault from Reltio to Vault, but in most likely cases, you might already have a Viva Vault CRM system, and when you are implementing Reltio, you want to bring in data from uh, Vault CRM into Reltio, then you can use uh, these recipes to do the initial loads. We support DCR capability as well. DCR specifically wherein you can make decisions in Reltio. So if you create a record in Veeva Vault, they will show that as a DCR in Reltio and have a demo for this scenario as well. So um, stay stay put for that. Right. We handle certain non-functional capabilities as well, like sequencing of the events. We do delta handling, as well as certain things like retries and notifications in case of errors and warnings. Right. So this is the overall capability that you get that you already have as part of the October release. What we are also working on is the search before create APIs and the recipes, and these search before create APIs would work with the match APIs. Um, so that's what we're working on. We are working on certain new capabilities around keeping the lookup values in sync between your Vault CRM and Reltio RDM tenants. And then we will also come out with some sort of an estimation for the task calculation. So RIH tasks are consumed as part of these recipes. So we will also provide a way to estimate those tasks. So, enough of slides. Let me show a few scenarios as part of the demo in this integration. Um, and what I'm going to cover is I'll load a few records in Reltio. Um, we will see those records flow from Reltio into Veeva Vault. We'll see those crosswalks getting updated, and then we'll merge those records. And lastly, we will see the one of the records that I've created to look at the DCR piece. Right. So uh, that's the scope for the demo today. Okay. Um, okay, let's start with this. So this is, let me just, so I'm logging into Veeva Vault CRM system over here. Right? This is our sandbox that we use for our testing and demo purposes. I'll come to the how the data looks like, but let me show our Reltio system. I'll load some records using Postman, and we'll see that flowing into Veeva Vault. And so I'm going to use Postman. In this case, I'm loading certain records for HCP data, right? And I have the names over here, so we'll look at those records briefly. Right. So this has created a couple of records. And I'll just copy this and go for these records, and I'll show you what we have done in that. Okay. So these are the two records that have got created, George and Jorge, right? If you see this record, it has quite a few details, name, email address, specialties, lessons, details, right, and address. Um, you see this record has a potential match because these potential matches are identified by a match rules, right? In the sources side, you see the standard sources over here of Reltio, right? But what's happening behind the scenes is there's this RIH recipe running. What it does is it goes and polls the queues, and as and when the data is available in the queues, it executes that and you know, replicates the data from Reltio to Vault CRM. Right? And once it does that, it also has this notion of uh, callback. So any ID that gets assigned to a record in your vault, the vault ID gets updated back into the system into Reltio as far as the crosswalk value. So let's see if this has that source crosswalk now. Okay. So you see here, this is the crosswalk that got assigned to this record 88059. And if you see similarly the other record, um, George, this will also have corresponding Weaver Vault CRM 88058. Right? So these are the two records that got created. You can go in the Vault CRM and look at those. So here, the easiest way to search is going to your drop down and look for my accounts, and I can search for these records. Right? And you'll see the two records, George and this one. So 88048 is the ID over here, right? And it has all those details. I can go and look at the other record as well, which we saw in wherein we had the basic details, the specialty information, and if you go to the addresses, you'll see the address also handled over here. Now, what we'll do is we'll merge those records, right? So we saw that these are potential matches. I can look at the rules and I can say that, yeah, I mean, I'm confident that these two records are most likely the same because they have the same phone number and because the match works. So if I do a merge over here, these merged records will now flow back and update the record um, in Viva Vault, right? And this entire merge process, also again triggers a recipe, and then it it identifies the winner, the loser, and then calls the standard APIs of Viva Vault to merge those records in the Viva Vault system as well. So that's how this integration currently works. We'll see if the data gets updated here. Let's go back. Till now, I get to see two records, George and Jose, and we'll see uh, in a second how these two records get merged. Mhm. And we'll also see the updates in here. I'm just waiting for these recipes to run, but at the end result is these two records get merged and then they become one, similar to what we have here in England here. Right? The third use case, right, that I wanted to showcase was the DCR creation, right, and this has been a an ask from a lot of our customers that they want to create the records in your Vault CRM, but those should be updated or available in Reltio as DCRs, right? So we keep to provide that feature. You just need to switch on uh, uh, that that capability in the RIH recipes so that it doesn't create the records directly, but it creates the DCRs, right? So before we started this demo or the webinar, I created a record in Veeva Vault CRM, right? And it took a while for it to come, but this time it came as George as a DCR, right? I can say that record there. This is the record that I have created about half an hour ago, and it's available in Reltio as a DCR. Right? So if I go and look at this, I can compare the values, the specialty, the NPI number, the phone number, and the other details. Right? So now I have two options: approve or reject. Right? So if I approve, this gets converted into a proper record. Right? This goes away, and it has the Viva Vault uh, crosswalk also, right? And this also triggers that recipe so that the record in Viva Vault gets all the consolidated information. If it got merged or got standardized, then those details will come back over here um, in Viva Vault CRM also. Right? One of the things that we do, other than storing the crosswalk value over here, is to also um, use this external ID field to store the relative URI. Right? So if once the recipe is complete, you will see the external ID field also filled with the entity URIs that was created here in Delta. This kind of helps us uh, keep the data in sync, as well as in case we need some sort of a reconciliation done, then we can do it either in Reltio or in the Vault CRM system. Right? Okay, let's see. This has the data. Okay. Yeah, so if you see here, the external ID got updated, and this external ID is nothing but the entity ID or the entity URI, as we call it, that's updated here in this. Okay. Um, so yeah, this is the demo that I wanted to show, and I'm happy to take questions if you have further topics to be discussed. I'm happy to kind of open this up and ask all your questions. So,
There's one
yes,
there's one question in
yeah,
the chat, Gaurav, if you wanna, or two questions.
yeah. Yes, Abhijit, that was the idea to show the merged records. Let me see if it got updated. Okay, so the idea here was that George and Jorge would get merged. I don't see that has happened uh, during my initial test, obviously. This was working, so I'll have to check the recipes. But yes, merge is handled, not unmerged, right? So we call the standard APIs of Vault CRM to merge the records. Abhijit, if you have a follow-up, you can unmute and ask further questions if required. No, unmerge is not handled. Um, so the thing is, when unmerge happens in Reltio, um, we don't have, if I'm not wrong, there's no unmerge capability in Vault CRM. I might have to check that again, but I don't want to create a new record during an unmerge. So we have left that for customers to decide on how they want to implement unmerge scenarios. Okay. Any further questions? If not, Sarah, do you- oh, there's one. Sorry. Uh,
You want to go back to that question real quick, Gaurav?
yes.
Those two?
Yes. So, Abhijit is asking about the license. Yes, of course, license is required. This is an additional uh, uh, product or an add-on capability, similar to all the other integrations. RIH is a prerequisite. But what we have done with some of these RIH-based integration is when you license this integration, you get additional RIH tasks. In this case, it's like 30% of your consolidated profile per month, right? So by default, if you have just RIH, you'll get 25% of the CP as your tasks per month. Uh, But if you have this add-on, you get 30% additional. Uh, Specific pricing you can work with the AEs. Right? And the other question that's being asked is, will it handle automatically if the records got deleted or unmerged in uh, Viva? So if the records get deleted in Viva, we handle that scenario. We end date the crosswalks. So the crosswalks have that uh, end value or end date. We update that crosswalk data. We don't physically delete the data. Right? So that's how we handle the deletes. And again, if that answers your question. Okay, there's another one. During IDL sync from Viva to Reltio, any performance concern with this RIH approach? So initial data load, right? Uh, I'm not sure performance is a concern because behind the scenes we are using Reltio APIs, right? And the performance will also depend on the kind of transformations that you have as part of those pre-built recipes, right? I mean, in our case, we have not done any kind of transformations to affect the performance, but if you have any additional logic, that could have an impact. And performance will also depend on the size of your tenant, right? So the performance of your tenant will control the ideal processing as right? Um, and as we have seen on the basis of number of tasks during IDL. Yeah, Abhijit, so that's what I mentioned, right? We will come out with those numbers. We will document those numbers along with task estimation calculator. So based on the number of records that you have for IDL or for ongoing delta changes, you'll be able to estimate the number of tasks that would be required. Right? But again, it should not be a concern because with add-ons on RIH-based integrations, we are providing additional tasks as part of the entitlement itself, which is sub substantially higher than just the default tasks that you get. And by the way, those tasks also should take care of any additional transformations, any additional RIH enhancements that you do. So, for example, we just providing HCP, HCO data sync. If you have a third object, I don't know, lead for that matter, right? You can reuse some of these existing recipes and create new recipes for those custom objects. So then the additional tasks consumed as part of those new recipes will also be covered through that 30% additional CP, 30% additional tasks that we get.
Um, Manudin, it looks like you actually sent me a private message rather than a message to everyone. So if you want to go ahead and just ask Gaurav that question that you had, or I can just announce it. Gaurav,
Mhm.
Manudin asked, will it also trigger any event to delete the affiliation also?
So delete is a delete, right? So if you are deleting an object, the relationships will also be removed, right? So it's like HCP is associated to an HCO. If you delete the HCP, there's no association anymore, right? So it'll update those relationship crosswalks also, right? So that's how these recipes have been designed. And again, behind the scenes, these are relative APIs, so those will also take care of those subsequent processes if required. Any plans for Viva Clinical or Viva CTMS? Yes, sometime in future, that's also our goal that we will have some pre-built integrations into CTMS as well. Abhijit, you are asking about any challenge for a case wherein Viva entity are customized. So not really, Abhijit. That's a great question. Um, we have tested and we are putting in our documents on certain how-to guides, right? So, for example, if you've enhanced your Viva objects with custom attributes or custom fields, and you want to do the mappings or bring in those data in Reltio, you will have a detailed guide on how you can enhance the RIH recipes. What are those different steps wherein you will need to go and maintain that mapping so that data can sync from Viva to Reltio or Reltio to Viva.
All right, any other
Okay.
questions? Awesome. So we have a couple of community shows that are already on the schedule for January. The first one is on I360, Intelligent 360. And that is January 7th at 12:30 p.m. So it's a little bit later. And then on the 21st, we're going to be having a show on Databricks. It's not up on community yet, but it will be up by the end of this week. So keep an eye out and in community. And then, of course, as always, check the newsletter for those updates. Thank you
And
all so much for joining.
and just to clarify, this January 21 show, it says Databricks. So specifically, we are going to talk about zero copy data sharing from Reltio to Databricks.
Yes, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you so
Yep.
much. Awesome. Have a great rest of your
Okay.
day, everybody, and we'll see you at the next
Thank you,
show.
everyone.